this.
Okay, our special meeting is now officially called to order. We have the roll call, and I think you are to do that. Okay.
District 1,
Here.
District 2,
Here.
District 3,
Here.
4,
Here.
and District 5.
Okay, at this time, we will have our superintendent's statement.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In accordance with Section 200.065 and Chapters 1010 and 1011 of the Florida statutes, I previously submitted the tentative balanced budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 and recommended the millage to be levied. On July 24th, 2023, you approved the tentative budget and millage for advertising. On August 1st, 2023, you approved the tentative budget and millage. The purpose of today's hearing is to amend the proposed final budget as you see fit, approve a resolution or ordinance stating the millage rate to be levied, and approve a resolution adopting the district summary budget. That budget will then become the official District School Board of Putnam County budget for fiscal year 2023-2024.
Thank you, sir. All right, public hearing on district summary budget. Financial officer. Chief. Chief.
Good afternoon. For those that don't know me, my name is Rhonda Odom. I'm the Chief Financial Officer, Assistant Superintendent of Business and Finance. And one of the major jobs that I do is the budget every year. It includes not just the operating budget, but it includes all the other budget sources that we have. And as NEFEC's fiscal agent, it includes NEFEC's budget also. So we are here today to present, discuss, and adopt the final millage rates and the final budgets for this new fiscal year. I will discuss the items that are out there on board docs. I went into a lot of detail, a whole lot. Like we were just talking about, I lost my voice at the budget workshop before the meeting to advertise. And at the first public hearing, we went over quite a few handouts at that too. So today, my plans are to be very brief because some of the information you are hearing will be for the third time. But in order to follow Florida Truth in Millage, the TRIM guidelines, I have certain items that I am required by law to present to you. I have, like I said, cut down on the handouts tremendously from all the informational ones you received earlier, but I have added the two resolutions at the end and the actual budget transmittal documents. So the first thing that I have to discuss in order to be in compliance with TRIM is the rollback rate. The rollback rate, and you have a handout that talks about the rollback rate. The rollback rate is the millage rate that it would take to bring into the district the exact amount of tax revenue as we received last year after we pull out all the effects of current new construction. So it's applied to the current year tax base, but doesn't include the new construction. As you'll see from the handout, our rollback rate is 4.7313, and our 23-24 millage rate is 6.230 mills. That's on page 1 of the rollback handout. It's an increase of 1.4987 mills over the rollback rate, but it's an increase on page 2. You'll see of actual mills, 0.767 actual mills over last year's millage rate. And that entire increase in actual millages is attributable to the debt service millage for our first payment on the bonds of 0.867, less the 0.1 mil reduction that was set by the state in our required local effort. So what our current year millage rate at 6.230 mills will do, it will bring in 131.67% of the funds generated from last year's 5.463 mills. So in other words, our millage rate is 31.67% above the rollback rate. And if you'll see from page 3 of the rollback rate handout, take a property owner whose appraised value is $125,000, which leaves him after homestead a taxable value of $100,000. He would see an increase in taxes owed to the school district of $76.70. This is all attributed to the bonds, as his total taxes on went up 86.70 on the bonds at 0.867 mils, but it went down $10 in the required local effort. And that required local effort, as I mentioned, is set by the state, and we have to levy that exact amount in order to receive our FEFP funds of over $60 million. And as I mentioned at the last meeting, and I'll mention it again for the sake of those in the audience, each school board that participates in the state allocations of funds through the Florida Education Finance Program for the current operation of schools must levy the millage set for its required local effort from property taxes. And the way that is determined is that each district's share of the state total required local effort is determined by a statutory procedure that's put in place, and it's initiated by the certification of property values of each district by the Department of Revenue. And the only way to levy more than the amount we are levying for operating or capital purposes is to go before the public in a general election asking for our millage to be increased. It could be in operations, or it could be something like for debt service for bonds, which we of course did this year. As an additional piece of information, I think I told you this also, our property values in Putnam County have greatly increased over this time last year. Last year, our property tax base was $6.18 million, and this year it's valued at $7.48 billion, and that's after pulling out the effects of new constructions also. So this increase in value, as well as our increase in millage for debt service, will increase the property owner's school millage owed. However, as I mentioned at our first tentative meeting, is that we would have had to advertise as a proposed tax increase even if we had not added the bond levy because of our higher tax values. Going down that 0.1 mils in the required local effort without having the bonds would have still put us at 119.12% of the funds that the millage rate last year generated. So thus a tax increase. Now the next item I'm going to discuss is, you've seen it before, is the one-page compression of our entire budget. This is summarized just by fund type and revenue source and expenditure function. This did change from the tentative budget as we've had time to post depreciation, compensated absences, the OPEB liability, that's the other post-employment benefits, to our NEFEC funds. NEFEC is required to be treated as a business type entity, and these are liabilities that are required by Governmental Accounting Standards Board to be accrued, so their funds of internal services and enterprise funds change the most from the tentative hearing. We had changes in other funds too, as additional accounts receivable may have come in. We also budgeted the first year appropriation for the special facility school at Crescent City. It wasn't in the tentative yet because we had not received the official PICO form that showed the exact amount and how long. At the time I advertised in the paper, we didn't know if it was going to be funded over we knew we were getting it, but we didn't know if it was going to be 2 years, 3 years, or whatever. So I waited for official documentation to put that in. So that's been added into the capital funds. We funded language line that the board approved. That was a $30,000 that wasn't in the first budget, and I gave an additional $10K to Mellon Learning Center for the pre-K kids. The pre-K kids are not funded by state funds. It's only the ESC, but they needed supplies and everything for the regular pre-K kids there too, so we put an additional $10,000 in there. So little changes like that did change also. Now, you've got it out in your mail room, you've got a book about this big. It's a detailed budget provided, broken down line by line, cost center by cost center, and that entire several hundred page document is the exact same numbers that are compressed into this one page document. It's just in a different format. And the final two handouts on board docs are first your copy of the board resolution determining the revenues and millages levied that are required to be sent to the Department of Revenue, to the Putnam County property appraiser, and to the tax collector within 3 days of today's hearing. And you also have a resolution adopting the actual budget that will be transmitted to the Department of Education tomorrow in the format they require, as well as a hard copy has to be mailed too. That's like a 30-page, I roughly want to say, it's about a 30-page document. So it's different from the one-page compression and the several hundred page compression in your mailroom, the numbers on all three documents are, bottom line are the same budget, total budget in every fund source, just presented in different ways. So really today I tried to make this as short and sweet as I could, as it's the third time going over the budget, because you also had the regular board meeting today. But before we do go to the roll call vote, which is the last thing and takes quite a while, I know the way we have to do it, are there any questions for me on any of the information I have provided to you today?
Not necessarily a question, Rhonda, but something to point out for the board and anybody that watches this on video is that irregardless of the fact that we have additional revenue coming in through ad valorem values and new construction, we will never be able to really utilize that from the standpoint, because every time we do that, then the state then requires us to increase our local effort.
Required
So it's a-
local effort.
Right, so it's a catch-22. So it would be great if we could do that, but that's just not reality, and that's one of the things that I'd like to see, us as a board, try to work with our legislative delegation and trying to get corrected, because, we won't have another $900 million Seminole Electric generating new plant.
Correct.
And we probably won't have another $300 million GP expansion, although I hope we will. But, in reality, this is the best that we can do because of what the state criteria and
That's
what
correct.
they're forcing us to do.
And that required local
That on
effort.
the record.
Yeah, it's been going down for years. Ever since I've been in the position, every year it's been going down a little at a time, because as property values go up, they don't want to be saying that they're putting forth a tax increase, so they are lowering that required local
And I was
effort.
gonna bring the same thing up, Phil. I mean, the RLE, required local effort, you'll see people when this runs in the paper or what, they'll be angry about, perhaps, some of them will not understand, but the state, in order for them to send us the funding that we deserve, or we should get the appropriation from them, they force you to at least levy so much millage, and Rhonda's, nothing in government is ever as it seems. And I know people
true.
say that with us, but it's certainly how state funding is really quirky. But Phil's right. It'd be nice if they would work together and try to find a better way, but property
And
values.
at least meet us halfway so that, when we do have additional revenue that, I think the county lowered their millage 0.2 or 0.3 mils. I mean, it's not a lot, but every little bit helps. And,
That's true.
But they weren't handcuffed with the Department
Right.
State Department of Education, requiring that we increase our required local effort as far as
It's a whole
tax
different-
is concerned.
Yeah.
So
Different
I just
ballgame.
want that to be on the record.
And I think, yeah,
Look at the number of people that can't or don't pay their taxes.
Right.
that's true.
We don't get anything for that.
And alluding to something Mr. Leary said, the county they're limited to 10 mills. They can go to that 10 mills without going before the voters. The only way we can increase our millage over what the state sets and with the capital is to go before the voters. We would also be limited at 10 mills, but we've never come anywhere close, and we've only twice had something approved by the voters, back in 1979 and then this year, and everything. So
I remember.
really, we can keep this open as long as y'all want to. Any questions that you have, any changes that you want. And if not, if you're ready to proceed, we'll look at the adoption sheet and call for a roll call vote on each fund's millage and budget.
I'm ready to.
I'm ready.
Madam Chairman, I think when I was talking to the attorney earlier that we can do this by section, by A, B, C, D. We don't have to do all these individually.
That's great.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
public comment first.
Yeah. I was just telling Jonathan, there's probably an easier way to do this. We've just always done it this way, and that's that old
And
creature
so-
of habit.
So if we're doing it that way, then we don't have to read off the approved final required 3.115 meals. We don't have to read any of that, just.
I'll leave that to the attorney. I'm
Would
not,
you-
Madam Chair, just point of order, just want to make sure we recognize anyone for public comments and questions.
Oh, yes.
you can certainly reach out to me at any time. I'll write my email address. I didn't bring a card, but I'll,
And we had an opportunity to speak while she was out in the foyer.
he would talk my language then, because I am too.
Right.
Thank you for being here today.
And she said that her children have been in our district for 2 years,
Okay.
and she just wanted to see how it runs, how it is operated, and so I thanked her.
In the near future, I do have questions, but I just want to understand you first before I start answering.
Okay, all right, and you're welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chairman, can I ask the attorney a question?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So, Mr. Blocker, under item C, if I read 1 through 5 individually, and then can we vote on those collectively, or do we have to do them
Come up here.
individually?
Past practice has been individually, but I'll do whatever the attorney says is fine.
And I think that's right. As a school board, practice is generally to read them individually, then vote individually. Under the statute, as long as it's clear in the record what's being voted on, the consensus. So there are times where I've seen boards do it the way you've described, Mr. Leary. Generally, the practice is to do it individually. I don't think there's any legal issue with doing it collectively, but that's generally, as long as it's on the record, as long as it's articulated. I don't know if
How you
that
wanna do it,
answers.
Madam Chairman? Up to
Okay,
you.
well, it's up to us. All in favor of doing it individually, let it be known by aye.
I will say aye because I would prefer to follow past practice till I get a better recommendation from our attorneys to do this in the future. I would have no problem with it, but I don't want to, let's do this and then have to come back for an emergency meeting because one item has been messed up. It's
Okay,
just me.
That's a good idea.
again,
Okay.
individually?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Madam Chair, are we ready?
Yes, sir. We are
I
ready.
will move approval of C1, the final required local effort millage rate of 3.115 mils.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, you call for the, yes.
Yes.
District 2,
Yay.
District 3,
Yes,
District 4,
Yes.
and District 5.
Aye.
Madam Chair, I'll move adoption of C2, final discretionary millage rate of 0.748 mils.
Second.
District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yay.
3,
yes.
4,
Yes.
and 5.
Aye.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion, we adopt millage levy for the final debt service millage rate of 0.8637 mils.
Go back.
A C3,
You said 3?
number 3,
Oh.
final
did I-
debt service, C3, final debt service millage rate of 0.8637 mils.
Second.
District 1,
Yes.
I don't see a 3.
I don't see a 3.
I don't see a
It's
3.
C3.
C3.
Have it on the number.
When he was reading it.
He didn't.
He said 0.8637.
So do we have a 3? I have a 3.
It
I
doesn't-
don't have
it
a
doesn't have it
3.
on. It doesn't have it.
Well, somebody gave us the different sheet.
Yeah.
It's,
I apologize,
Rhonda
Mr.
did it.
Buckles, but our sheet is, see,
They're
see.
pulling off of, instead of the hard copies, they're pulling off what Susan put on.
Oh, yeah,
her
we
doc.
put-
It's the exact same thing.
Okay, but if you'll give me what they have, I'll read exactly what you want me to read.
No,
I see.
Board agenda.
yeah, which one?
no.
This is the
You
one.
want him, should he read off of that or should he read off?
This is fine because
Well, we've already approved it.
my records is put in there, but Tara makes copies of all the
All right, well,
handouts.
we've approved
Well, there
it.
is a 3 in this one and not in this one.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
It's 3.
No, it says 8637.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
So there's a
Susan
3.
put it in.
the number on it is different than,
Okay,
The
see, the one I printed. out
8637,
has the 3.
what I gave is
Okay,
just
so I'll use this.
867.
867.
Okay.
Sorry, I mean, I didn't mean throwing you under the bus, but
Should there,
I thought they were talking about number 3.
should
None
there
of them
be,
have a number.
should there be a 3 in the millage rate?
There should
There
not.
should not. So should I restate my motion or whatever?
Yes. Sorry, I took yours.
All right, adoption of millage levy for final debt service millage rate
I call myself chicken.
of 0.867 mils.
That's correct.
Second.
We ready. We got it straight now.
District 1.
Yes.
2. District 2.
Mr. Buck.
Yay.
District 3.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
And District 5.
Aye. Madam Chairman, go ahead.
I was
Linda.
gonna ask Linda to read the other one. You got it, sweetie.
I was just finally pulling. So are we reading off this one?
4. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll let y'all do that. I don't have the hard copy. I've got the thing.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, well, Madam Chair, I've moved to approve the final capital outlay millage rate of 1.500 mils.
I'll second that.
District 1.
Yes.
2.
Yay.
3.
Yes.
4.
Yes.
And 5.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt the final total millage rate of 6.230 mils, which is 31.67% above the rollback rate.
I'll second.
District 1.
Yes.
2.
Yay.
3.
Yes.
4.
Yes.
And 5.
Yes. Madam Chairman, I'll move adoption of D1, the final general fund budget of $112,070,364.87.
I'll second that.
District 1.
Yes.
2.
Yay.
3.
Yes.
4.
Yes.
And 5.
Yay.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt the final, number 2, final debt service funds budget of $6,335,793.05.
I'll second that.
District 1.
Yes.
2.
Yay.
3.
Yes.
4.
Yes.
And 5.
Yes. Madam Chairman, I'll move adoption of D3, the final capital projects funds, for the final special revenue funds budget of $53,035,500.83.
Second.
District 1.
Yes.
2.
Yay.
3.
Yes.
4.
Yes.
And 5.
Yes.
I think we need to go back to 3.
We skipped that one.
Okay,
The
we did.
161,905,000.
Yeah, we're on.
we skipped
we
that
need to
one
go back to
She
altogether.
told me to go to 4. No, just-
You were reading 4.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we adopt for district summary budget, number 3, final capital projects funds budget of $161,905,485.54.
Second.
District 1.
Yes.
2.
Yay.
3.
Yes.
4.
Yes.
And 5.
Yay.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt number 5, final internal service budget, funds budget of $36,322,993.15.
I'll second that.
District 1.
Yes.
2.
Yay.
3.
Yes.
4.
Yes.
And 5.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt number 6, final permanent funds budget of $137,033.51.
I'll second it.
District 1.
Yes.
2.
Yay.
3.
Yes.
4.
Yes.
5.
Yes. Madam Chairman, I will move adoption of D7, the final enterprise funds budget of $28,044,815.47.
Second.
District 1.
Yes.
2.
Yay.
3.
Yes.
4.
Yes.
And 5. District 5.
5.
Oh, yes. Oh, I was reading 8. I was fixing to go ahead and make a motion. Yeah.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we adopt the adoption of the millage for total district for final budget in its entirety of $851,986.42.
Second.
District one,
Yes.
District two,
Yay.
3,
Yes,
4,
Yes.
and 5.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to have to count all this money.
We,
I don't want all that.
we ready to move to E? Madam Chairman, I'll move approval of E1, resolution determining revenues and millage levied for the fiscal year 2023, 2024.
I'll second that.
District one,
Yes.
2,
Yay.
3,
Yes,
4,
Yes.
and 5.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt item F1, the resolution adopting the district summary budget for the 2023-2024 year.
I'll second that.
District one,
Yes.
2,
Yay.
3,
yes.
4,
Yes.
and 5.
Thank you. I know that was the third time, I'm
Yes.
sorry. I know that was the third time you saw that, and that's probably why there's so much going on here. It's, and just think next year, or when we sell more bonds, that budget will keep getting higher because we've got another $200 million worth of bonds to sell. So, what I will now do is I'll go adopt the budget in the system tonight and send out an email to everyone that they're now free to start spending their entire budget. I'll flip the switch so they can no longer go over budget, because right now with no budget, they've been doing some spend. They have to with school in session, and they would be able to put on purchase orders with no budgets. And now they're going to have, if they had any negatives, they're going to have to do a budget transfer and move their monies around, because they'll no longer be able to put on purchase orders without a budget there. So we'll get all that done tonight, and then I'll get it transmitted to Tallahassee tomorrow. And that'll be my final budget year in the books.
All right, thank you.
Miss Susan, I'm going to leave this up here because I've got a volleyball game. I'm going to
Thank you so
get
much.
out of here
for
quick
what
as soon
you
as
do.
Sandy.
Thank you.
Stop
Is there
yourself.
anything else
enjoy
to
it.
come before the board so Mr. Buckles can get out of here safely?
I've got a ball game too. so-
My grandkids
Yeah.
are playing volleyball
Jonathan,
for
you
Black
got all
High.
this for next year? You got all this down for next year?
We getting there.
All right, if nothing else to come before us, you all have a great night and thank you.
Y'all.
Thank you.